He wasn't supposed to make it. He struggled in school, especially with Latin. His teachers doubted he'd ever become a priest, and yet. This simple man from a small village would go on to hear confessions for up to 18 hours a day, transforming countless lives, not through brilliance, but through holiness. This is the story of St. John Vianney, a saint who shows us what God can do with a heart fully surrendered. He was born in 1786 in France, during a time when the church was under attack. Priests were hunted. Mass was celebrated in secret. As a boy, he risked everything just to receive the sacraments. From the start, he saw the Eucharist not as a ritual, but as a treasure worth dying for. He wasn't the brightest student. In fact, he nearly got expelled from seminary. But he had something the others didn't, a love for God that burned through his weakness. With extra help and extraordinary perseverance, he was finally ordained. They didn't know what to do with him, so they sent him to a remote, forgotten village called Ars, population 230. He went, and God began to work. He arrived and saw a church in ruins, not just physically, but spiritually. The people had fallen away from the faith. They didn't go to Mass. Confession was rare. There was drinking, gossip, and despair. He didn't preach at them. He didn't scold them. He simply began to pray. He spent hours in the church each day, pleading for his people. He offered Mass with tears in his eyes. He fasted for them. He wept for their sins. He went door to door, visiting the sick, feeding the hungry, showing kindness to those who mocked him. And slowly, grace began to move. People started returning, first a few, then dozens, then hundreds. Before long, people were traveling for miles, just to see this poor priest who seemed to carry the presence of God. He would hear confessions all day, sometimes sleeping only 2 or 3 hours. He could read souls. He knew things no one told him, not because he was gifted, but because he had become so close to Christ that Christ trusted him with his mercy. But his holiness didn't make his life easier. In fact, it made him suffer more. He was constantly attacked by the devil, noises in the night, his bed shaking, voices mocking him. One night, his room caught on fire. He survived. He stayed, and he kept loving. The enemy hated him, because every soul John Vianney brought back to Christ was a soul snatched from darkness. And yet, this was a man who felt unworthy. He wanted to quit, to live in a monastery, to hide from the crowds. He even tried to run away, but each time he returned. He knew the people needed him more than he needed peace. What made him powerful wasn't his intelligence or his eloquence. It was his humility, his total dependence on God, his absolute trust. He once said, "The priest is not for himself. He is for you," and he lived that to the end. When he died in 1859, over 300 priests and thousands of lay people came to his funeral. He had become the soul of Ars, and nobody who became a saint, not in a cathedral, but in a tiny village no one had heard of. And that's the beauty of God's work. He doesn't need our success. He needs our surrendered saint. John Vianney changed the world not by being brilliant, but by being faithful. And that's what you and I are called to be. You may not be a priest. You may not preach or hear confessions, but you are called to bring Christ to the people round you. You can pray for your family. You can love the difficult ones. You can offer your day, your fatigue, your work for the salvation of souls. Holiness is not a matter of title or talent. It's a matter of the heart. Maybe you feel too small, too weak, too broken. That's exactly who God loves to use. Because when the world sees someone small shine with God's light, they know it's not about the person, it's about the presence. So today, remember this: God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be available. Let your parish, your workplace, your home become your Ars. Begin again. Pray. Love. Stay, and God will do the rest. St. John Vianney, pray for us.